chose the right story, and the same story you're going to believe me for Saturday night.
There are a lot of folks who think that if there is a successful technique against Floyd, it's to be a body puncher. You're renowned for being a body puncher. Do you think that works to your advantage?
If I'm concentrating myself and just going through the body, I'm going to fail in the road. I'm preparing myself for any kind of style. I'm preparing myself for everything I can do for him. I'm going to do it in the Saturday.
Mayweather seemed to focus primarily on using sparring partners who were like super middleweight to light heavyweight to try and simulate your strength a little bit. Did you try and do the same thing? What's your philosophy on that? Should your sparring partners kind of simulate the style you're fighting? Did you try to get faster guys? Or
that's the reason you have sparring partners. To get someone who look like your opponent, and you can simulate the way your opponent fight. He do this thing in his camp and do my thing on my canvas.
Was it effective for you? I mean, were you able to? Who were you using, and were you able to find sparring partners?
Pedro was the guy who found the sparring partner. He knows everything about that.
Were you satisfied with the sparring?
Yeah, pretty satisfied with it.
Okay.
What about the gloves, the 8-ounce as opposed to the 10-ounce gloves? How was that going to affect the fight?
What can bring you, what can take from you 2 ounces? It's nothing.
Can you talk about how comfortable you are with Pedro as your trainer? You obviously have a good confidence level and comfort level.
When you train at the best capacity you can, when you had somebody who always want to take out from you the best you can, when you have a guy who always bring the best from him to make you work better, you great, and you have a great chemistry with him. That's the kind of chemistry Pedro and I have.
He seems very calm, which seems like he would be perfect for,
Whom, Pedro?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a quiet guy, pretty calm guy, but he knows what he has to do.
Miguel, when Floyd selected you, he's been so astute in selecting who he fights, and obviously he thinks this fight through pretty diligently. Why do you think he picked you?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't really know. I just see her. I get agree for the fight a couple of months ago. I just get preparing myself to give an awesome fight, to get a victory this night. And if the reason he has to fight with me, the only people who knows that is him.
La última pelea que ha tenido Floyd Mayweather en la 154 fue precisamente frente a Oscar de la Hoya, y en términos de resultado ha sido la más cerrada de su carrera en una decisión dividida. ¿Has hablado con Oscar sobre su pelea con Floyd Mayweather y tal vez poder usar alguna de las técnicas que usó Oscar durante esa pelea, o te limitas simplemente a lo que estás trabajando en el ring?
Estas peleas son muy diferentes. Tengo un entrenador que se llama Pedro Bonita, y es el que tiene que ver con toda mi preparación.
Floyd Mayweather has a history of talking trash to his opponents, belittling his opponents. Were you surprised by the respect that he showed you?
He being a gentleman the whole way with me. Mm-hmm. I've been a gentleman the whole way with him. I think that's the way you have to do with your opponent. You get paid just for fighting over the ring, not outside the ring.
Now, when you were 140 pounds and he was at 140 pounds like 5 years ago, what were your thoughts on him as an opponent then, and did you always think you would fight him?
When I was in 140 pounds, I was so young, I was so, how can you say, I'm not be a mature boxer, and I didn't think about him because he was a great champion. He was a guy who go over me in all levels. But now we are in the same boat, and the preparation we had in our camps going to be the one who gave us the victory.
Miguel, have you stopped and taken a deep breath and really appreciated the size of the purse that you're getting for this fight? I mean, it is sort of of a point where you stop and appreciate that, look, I really made it. I made it to the highest levels of the sport, above and beyond what you've ever done before.
You know, everything I had in my career, nobody give to me.
Yeah.
I earned it all over the road, you know. And I'm a hard worker, a hard worker. I'm here because of that, and I'm going to be a hard worker the whole way.
Have you heard from the great champions from Puerto Rico? Have they spoken to you? Have you gotten messages from them going into this fight?
No, I'm just being concentrated in Orlando for my camp. I didn't talk to anybody else.
Miguel, not a lot of people are giving you a shot at this fight. Do you like being the underdog? Because usually you come into a fight, you're the favorite. But in this case, not a lot of people are feeling that.
I'm not taking care of that, you know. I just put myself in my training camp the best I can, agree to let everything to my training sessions, and when you do that, you feel prepared enough when anything can happen the night of the fight, and that's what's going to happen.
Floyd has never lost. He always says there's no blueprint how to beat him. What do you think about that?
If nobody found the way to beat Floyd Mayweather, you're going to see how a person can beat Floyd Mayweather next time.
Miguel, Felix Trinidad said today that a toe-to-toe scenario where you go to the body, where you attack him, and maybe jump on him might be a good way to go. Is there any credence to that?
No, you know, if you're going to a fight with just one style, just one plan to fight a guy like Mayweather, who get used to run, who get used to punch, who have skills, you're going to fail on the road. You have to prepare yourself for more than one plan. We prepare ourselves for more than one plan. We fail ourselves. Prepare enough. I mean, and everybody going to see what happens.
How much of a factor would it be to suggest that body punching and pressure, early pressure, not as opposed to late in the fight, might be a part of your game plan?
I'm going to use all the tools I have in my bag, and I'm going to follow the trace Pedro made for me in this camp. If I can accomplish that, I'm going to be the winner.
Do you take anything away from the two of the more prominent common opponents you have, Judah and Mosley, and the success in particular that Judah had against him?
Pedro was the guy who in charge of seeing the videos and see what Floyd get used to do in his fights. I just follow his instruction, his tips, his direction on the training session, and I'm here because of that.
One more question. Against Margarito, your stamina looked better. Were you unhappy with how you were doing in the later rounds of fights before that? And do you feel like you've made the necessary improvements to where if this fight goes the distance, like some people believe it will go, that you're ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready for 12 hard rounds. I'm ready for anything he can breathe the night after Saturday, and I'm prepared enough for Floyd Mayweather.